and the bear, Robot 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 and the bear with guest Anthony Chan 72. Woo 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 woo
Wait,
Hello.
we should have had
doo.
Anthony come in with the violin. We blew it. You know, we could
You
have
play
had
violin,
Anthony come
Anthony?
in. Oh,
Yeah,
you haven't seen Anthony plays violin on Sawtell Boulevard. He busts.
Really?
hmm
Really? Like you put the hat down, you fucking like
I
stand
put the
out.
hat on, and I have a bucket, and I
Okay.
open my violin case. I even have like solar powered lamps that because
Mm,
the sun sets now early, so I have these solar powered lamps that have kind of fake candlelight, so it sets the mood. And I play classical violin.
oh
I play
wow.
like Bach and I hook it up to an amp so it echoes, so it sounds like it's in a church. Um, yeah, and I have even have a QR code. So many people are telling
Wow.
me to get a Venmo account because they don't carry cash anymore and they wanted to give me a donation.
Yeah,
So
you should.
So
It's easy. It's easy. Just get that
no,
Venmo
I
account.
did it. I did it, and it's like it totally it like doubled my take, which is amazing.
And do you do this in front of B Suite or like, or do
Uh,
you?
Hide Sushi has a really wide sidewalk, so I
Right.
do it there, and that's a good spot. Or across the street after they've cleaned up under the trees,
Oh,
I'll play
at
over
the
there.
at
basically,
the
it's
old.
where the flute guy is. There's a flute guy during the day
Yeah,
sometimes, and he's usually not very good. But then when he's gone, Anthony comes in. And some people have said, "Oh, Anthony, you should play a duet with that guy," but that guy is
Yeah.
not very good. No, the guy's terrible. It's like me, having you collaborate on paintings with somebody that's really bad.
I do it all the time, man. I
Yeah, not once for
do.
your solo show. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's bring you down 10 levels. But
Yeah,
yeah, I that's so Anthony does play the violin, but he's uh that's all that's one thing among many that he's done or does.
yeah, you guys have quite a history from what I understand. Like you guys have known each other for at least on and off for a long time.
what decade? It's been what? It's like I met you in my 20s. Like I was drawing superhero comics at the time, and you were started like doing Giant Robot magazine, and
Yeah. So I think for those of you who don't know, Anthony was doing a comic called 9 Volt, which was part of Image Comics very early on. Image, is that correct? It's pretty early Image,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I was
Wow.
they were just starting up, and I did that. I did some kind of work on Cyberforce, and I did some like
Is this like
a mini series based on one of the characters. So I was doing superhero comics, but I was terrible at it. Like it's not.
But was this during the same time as, I mean, this was Spawn also? And
Yeah,
I mean,
Spawn, Cyberforce, like Wildcats, so like all the Image, Jim Lee, what is it? Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, like all those guys.
yeah.
I worked with Mark Silvestri at Top Cow. He's super nice, super sweet guy.
So did you actually draw the comics? I wasn't quite
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I was a penciler. Yeah, so I had
Wow.
I I graduated from Yale with a degree in literature, and I didn't want to go to law school or academia because who wants to do those things? And so I decided in my like sophomore, junior year that I wanted to try my hand at drawing superhero comics because I loved to read comic books growing up. And it was the one kind of field where there's like very little barrier to entry. Like, so you can just work up, kind of superhero, sample pages. And then at that time we would before it was online, like we would just go to these comic book conventions, and then I would just peddle my 5 to 10 page superhero samples around to editors. You could just walk up to them. So I would just walk up to editors and I'd be polite, but I'd have like Xerox copies of my sample pages to just give them with my phone number and address on them, and just say, hey, can I get some feedback? Maybe like a sample script. You can try me out and stuff. And I would get, good feedback. I mean, I kept on going and going and getting good feedback. So I was like, I'm just gonna try it. And I was watching all these image guys like become multi-millionaires, and I was like, oh, I gotta do that. And then I got in, and then the market totally tanked. Like that was at the time when like it like literally like I entered and I was like, here I am, and then it just like cratered. And then so
Wow.
I was working for Mark Silvestri, and the other thing is I was like slow as hell. Like it was painstakingly difficult for me to get pages done, and so the pace was just like too much for me. So you're getting paid like per page, so you have to be able to kind of crank stuff out. And um, there's something about drawing comics where it's like it's different from animation, because in animation, like you just do the kind of the under drawing, the fun part, of drawing. Whereas like in comics, it's like it's the finished image. And there's something about that that just really made me kind of like tighten up and
Were
get
you
really
inking
obsessive.
or?
No, I was doing pencils, but
Mm,
the pencils are very tight. Like
mm,
when you look at pages, these pages, they're like every line is pretty much drawn and indicated like what kind of inking they want. So the inkers would kind of enhance, the lighting, and make it kind of make characters pop with lines. But the pencils are very, very, very tight.
mm.
So I was doing that, and I was sitting in a really like amazing room. I was sitting like near Mark Silvestri, who was there, and then Michael Turner, God rest his soul, was like in one corner, and then David Finch was amazing, incredible and sweet person, taught me so much. He was sitting on another booth, like another like table. So we are located on the Third Street Promenade. So it was really funny.
Okay.
There was a studio there on the Third Street Promenade, and it was really hopping at the time. I remember like I would just go out and take a break, and just there'd be throngs of people on Friday, Saturday nights. Far cry from what Santa Monica is now, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was
That's
it was really it was really fun. But I only did that like for about a year and a half, 2 years,
Mm,
because I just found that I wasn't really suited for superhero comics, and then also the style was not really it wasn't natural to me, like doing that kind of very masculine kind of hatched, like super detailed kind of styles. Not really my
mm.
bag. I mean, I tried to do it just to get a job, but it
Right.
felt dishonest.
Sure.
the
So,
funniest part is, so I now that you mentioned the names Mark Silvestri, but you mentioned Turner, who somebody from your office, maybe I'm going to say 10 to 15 years ago, somewhere in between, gave me all the leftover shit from your office.
what? Really?
Yes. Yeah. So I got extra books. I got toy figures of, I can't remember what. I got all kinds of weird shit from your office.
Who did
Um,
that?
I don't remember, but I got boxes of it, and it was like comics, graphic novels. It was many Michael Turner titles, many Silvestri
Mm,
titles, like the same ones, but like I got like 5 or 10 of them of each. And
yeah.
yeah, and I don't know who, I can't remember for the life of me who did
Oh,
that, but it was like toy figures and small ones that were on like blister cards, and I got like a bunch of stuff from the Top Cow office. Yeah, 10 to 15 years ago.
That is so
Yeah, I can't remember
funny.
who or how. It wasn't you, but anyways,
No,
just
it
to
was not
make
me.
it a story full circle, all your trash ended up in my hands.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah. I forgot until you just mentioned the names. I was like, oh yeah. I got Top Cow
Yeah.
stuff and I can't remember who did that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
wasn't you,
right.
but somebody from your own office
Yeah,
just
no.
sold your shit
I
out for free.
I like you too much to dump all that shit on you. But you were like, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah.
And I was like, bring it on. Look at all this junk. I mean, it kind of was. I mean, it was stuff that I didn't really care for, but I had some friends that really they're happy to have that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. They're like, oh, Michael, is it Michael Turner? Is that his name?
Michael Turner, he did
Yeah, I remember
Witchblade, Witchblade.
I have a Michael Turner book or two, and I have it has his name right on the spine. I was like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's really funny. So after that, did you just transition to animation?
Yeah. So I was like, so in comics is really, you're working totally in your own like apartment, and I wasn't seeing any human faces for like days on end, and my sleep schedule was all like messed up. I would go to bed at like crack of dawn, like 6 in the morning, and then wake up like at 2. I wouldn't see the sun, so it was just really like kind of not healthy. So I was like, okay, I gotta do something else. So animation seemed like a good place for me to go because it it makes use of my drawing skill, but I also it's filmmaking, and so I just tried to get into storyboarding. So I was taking my comics portfolio to a lot of animation studios, and I got hired at Sony animation, at television animation at the time, to do like cleanup and revision and storyboards. And then very quickly after that, I was promoted to doing storyboards. And then from storyboards, I was promoted to doing directing on Jackie Chan Adventures. So I worked on Godzilla, like I worked on, what else did I work on? I worked on a lot of other shows. I mean, like kid stuff like Harold and the Purple Crayon and Dragon Tales, even. Like, I mean, just like little kid stuff, and then action stuff. I worked on the Starship Troopers, like computer animated series, like whatever was in the kind of the Sony IP. They made a cartoon out of it, Ghostbusters, and then I got onto Jackie Chan Adventures, which was a great show to work on because it was Asian American, and it balanced action and humor. And that's when I found, oh, I like doing like acrobatic action and balancing it with humor. So that's something that I've carried with me up until the present day. Like, with Rick and Morty or Pickle Rick, that was like my roots, and Jackie Chan, like kind of choreography and fight choreography and filmmaking, action filmmaking is very much present.
So you're working on Rick and Morty now, or
No, I'm not. I've been working on an unannounced Netflix adult comedy, which is also Asian American. I can't really talk much about
So
it,
but it's animated.
It is, yes, but it's
Okay.
it's more character and dialogue driven. It's very funny.
Didn't Netflix kind of? I mean, aren't they stepping a little bit away from animation? That's kind of what I thought. It seemed like
Well,
they cut a bunch of shows, and
they did. It was brutal. I saw a bunch of people like they had finished shows, like entire shows, and then just like nope, just pulled the plug on stuff that people had been working on for years. And it was part of that. There was a huge boom, and then an overshoot, and then just a massive contraction. And we're still in the middle of this very, very kind of extreme contraction. So I know like amazing artists who have been out of work for, you know.
But yet you're still working, so you still have work.
Yeah, I mean, it like I'm lucky enough to have had, a lot of, I have a lot of good shows been under my belt. Like I launched Bob's Burgers. Worked on
Bob's
King of the Hill.
Burgers,
Bob's Burgers, King of the Hill. I worked
King
on
of the Hill.
King of the
yeah.
Hill. How do you feel about the how do you feel about the relaunch?
Oh, I haven't watched it.
Okay.
I haven't
Not
watched
yet.
it.
Okay.
But I hear good things about it.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it because I don't have Hulu.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with like streaming service specific IPs, right? If you don't have Hulu, or if you don't have Netflix or whatever, you're kind of locking yourself away from access to a lot of this programming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I usually just like I'll get around to it at some point, like I cycle through different streaming services and I'm very brutal about like cutting it off because if I'm not watching it, then like then I can just start a subscription again and binge everything and then just cut it off again. Because very often I find that I was just like paying out money and then not watching anything for a long period.
That's kind of how it is. So you want to ask the big question, Luke, that you're curious about the AI thing because you brought it up earlier.
I mentioned on the IG post. Yeah, like
sure.
How is the this AI thing affecting like you and or the industry?
Well, it hasn't really affected me yet. I think it will be coming for a lot of jobs in terms of I think definitely for animation, like actual frame by frame animation. I think that AI will be able to kind of fill in a lot of those just like doing in betweens and kind of, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm a skeptic about AI in general. Like I think that they're doing a lot of stuff now just in a really kind of brash way and breaking a lot of laws, around copyright and they're just trying it. They're like, okay, we're just going to break the law and see if we can get away with it, and Silicon Valley kind of does get away with a lot. They're just they just try it, and then if there's no consequences, they'll just they get away with it.
Right.
So that's their way of doing it. I mean, I think that so they're gonna try, and I actually don't have a problem with AI as such. Like, if you come up with a technology that removes like a lot of the drudgery from production, great. But the problem is that corporations and in capitalist hands, right, they're going to crush labor.
Right.
They're going to lay people off and find cheaper ways of doing things that doesn't require human input. Right. And that's what they want ultimately. So, I mean, I always bring up this example, like they did a test with like giving a woman in a favela in Brazil, a machine that like you would knit like one blanket per week and it took forever and she would sell that. They gave her a machine that would do 20 in a day, and then they wanted to see what she would do with that machine. And what she did was she made one blanket a week, the same thing, but she just spent all her other time like hanging out with her friends, doing other stuff, like spending time with her family. So the problem is not the technology, it's political and it's economic, right? how is that technology being served? I mean, in my career, I've always seen technology being used to like squeeze labor, and I think that's the big problem. It's like, what are we going to do with all the people who are going to get passed out, who are incredibly talented and hardworking and all those things, but they just will cost too much. Like
Right.
the other thing that's really interesting about AI, I think, is that on the one hand, it'll do that, but on the other hand, I think it will put incredibly powerful tools in the hands of individual creators. So they'll be able to do amazing things, right? Without like an army of people in a studio,
Right.
and,
Right,
and
that's what
millions
seems
and
like.
millions of dollars. So that's another thing. So it it it's double edged, I think it can go both ways, like, I mean, these phones now, like, that 28 years later,
Mhm.
was shot on iPhones, and it looks incredible, like,
Was it? I didn't. I
yeah,
haven't watched it. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
So many movies have been shot on cell phones, right? I mean, going back to what was that one movie that was
Right. The
that
one of
follows the
With
I forget.
Tangerine,
Yeah,
like,
Tangerine. What iPhone iteration is that though? Like,
it's
is that an iPhone
old.
10?
I mean, but
I
you
mean,
look, yeah, but
it's
you
like
you look at like, is it
it's crazy.
the
Like
movie
it's
that
been
the what's his name? The Celebration. It was a Dogma movie, Dogma 95, a Danish movie. Thomas Vinterberg
oh
shot that all in this crappy digital video because they were like they had this this kind of dogma, kind of, what is it, manifesto, where they would shoot only with natural light on digital video with no kind of art direction, and then see what they could come up with. And he made it classic. I mean, you could watch it today and it would
right.
still
Yeah.
have the same kind of brilliant impact. And if you use the aesthetics, to your advantage, then it doesn't matter,
Yeah. Yeah.
You give a crayon to
Agree.
Degas, right?
Mhm.
And you'll get a masterpiece, right? I mean, that's
Or
so
just give a pencil to Luke and you can do the same thing, right, Luke?
exactly, right?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated to see how all this goes, simply because of the fact that of how technology informs or inspires, um, like the arts in general, right?
Mm,
Like the push and the pull of it all. I always kind of, I think the reference point that I always end up kind of pointing at is like the camera, right?
mm,
The camera is the you know device that basically destroyed the careers of 1,000 oil painters, right? Because now, why make people sit for weeks, to have their portraits painted, when they could just sit there for you know a day, or an hour, or whatever it was back then, to have their picture
mm.
taken.
Same thing
um
with photography though, right? It's like everyone you don't need a photographer as much as you used to.
Well, but the thing is that, like, painters transitioned from like rendering things realistically, to experimenting with deconstructing these techniques into like, inevitably became abstract expressionism, and
Yeah, yeah.
basically kind of turned veered everything away from traditionalism toward what has been labeled modern art, and then
Mm,
contemporary art.
mm,
And now the backlash of it all, of course, is like what is happening here in Los Angeles with, like, the pop surrealist, illustrative arts kind of thing, where people are kind of, where, like, the needle has swung so far all the way to, like, what was it, the banana on duct taped to a wall thing.
mm,
You're seeing more craftsmanship and stuff being kind of brought back, because
mm,
it's there's the connection between audience and art, has just become so, weird and
Mm,
fragmented, but and so like looking at AI as just a tool on its own, like I think, I mean, right now it is creating like all kinds of weird, you know, images that I would hate to see a human being wasting their time on. you know, like, like, like all this like shitty political art that's fucking art in quotes that is coming out, like Trump, like being a like you know a wrestler or whatever, or Gavin Newsom doing the same thing. It's just it it is like to think like like it's like you remember like just 6 short years ago, like you'd see like all this Trump fan art created by actual painters, and most of it was super cringe, and like but now you're seeing like these images that look, are done in the style of paintings, but it's just it's trash, fucking brain rot art, and um, it's fascinating to see, but you know, like
I think
I
there's
would.
gonna be a lot of like slop that just comes out of this new technology, like which is what's
Well,
happening now.
well, last night I was before I went to bed, I was watching. I was thumbing through TikTok, and I saw this animation. It was long. I think it was probably 5 minutes long, and it was a animated version of the Judy Hopps and I think Nick the Fox from Zootopia
Mm.
fanzine. It started off as a fanzine where like I think Nick gets Judy pregnant and Judy wants an abortion, and like all the all this drama, relationship drama happens, told in with the Zootopia characters, and it's a little bit fragmented, in the cuts, but like it was the entire zine was just told right there, like as though it was being animated by, I think it's Disney who did Zootopia, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I was just like, holy shit. And like there were inconsistencies in the storytelling, and it's like some scenes Judy's ears were up, sometimes they were pushed back,
Mm.
but like it was just kind of like, yeah, well, that's insane.
Mm.
Like,
So how
so
far away is stuff like the technology from actually being able to be used really well?
I mean, it seems like
Because
it's.
like you said, there's a lot of slop. I mean, there's tons of it, but yeah, when was it going to become a problem or a larger problem for people actually do lose jobs? If it hasn't already started, I think it has, but
I don't honestly know. Like, I don't. I think that there's still a lot of. Well, the thing is that I think like Disney Corporation is working to own its own library, so they
sure.
can mine from themselves. Like, so in
mm,
that sense, in terms of what they are able to produce, I think it'll destroy a lot of jobs. I mean, I think that just on the
Mhm.
kind of
Sure.
animation production, and it just seems like that will be inevitable. Like it seems like the quality of what they're producing is good enough, and they don't really care about quality like
Mhm.
that much.
I mean, they can
Like
make another
if it's a
Moana movie, right? Or
yeah, if
just
it's a fraction of the cost and they don't have to, you know, make back like as much as they spend on, you know, employing an army of people to make these movies, they'll find a cheaper route, or just make like a like a like a streaming series or something, or just kind of just crank out a bunch of
well,
stuff. Like
will we someday see the credits just have one name? It just goes,
It
and it's like Gemini AI, and it's just, and that's all you got. That's over. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, in terms, I mean, it'll be much fewer, you know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, because like right now, if
I
you
do
watch an
think so.
animated movie, there's thousands of names that come up. Each section is
Yeah.
like got a bunch of names, and those are just the names that are in there, right? A lot of names get left out
Yeah,
on teams because they're too low. But yeah, eventually it's just going to be the AI brand. Like here it is, ChatGPT did the whole movie, and that's
yeah.
it. And it's
But
like,
that's the weird
oh,
thing. It's like I don't understand the point. You know,
yeah,
like is there the only point of AI in that sense then is to just just kind of mine other people's work, you know,
it's
and
yep.
cut them out of the profit, you know, and that
That just
seems to
sounds
be
like
the
that's like what music industry. I mean, it just sounds like a lot of other industries that have,
you know.
the internet is kind of messed with,
Yeah. So I mean
a little bit.
that really seems to be like, and then I don't know. I just feel like I think that there's going to be a turning away from the digital as a kind of rebellion. Uh, for me, like I already feel like you know Silicon Valley is after every second of my time. Like like they want me to be engaged with social media, like whatever the internet, like they want all my attention, and I'm beginning to really resent it, so I do things to just completely unplug most of the time, like so I'll be I pursue my hobbies, like or I'll play violin on top hell and practice my violin, or I'll make sculptures, or I'll draw, or I'll do other things that are very like analog, 100% cooking, walking. Just I
Well,
don't want to have to be like constantly, beholden to this technology. And I do feel actually that with the advancement of technology, there is an inverse relationship with human capacity, and that the two go in opposite directions. Because I think about like Johann Sebastian Bach, right? There's this famous story that he like walked 2 weeks to get to a concert from a famous organist who's playing in some city far away, and he walked for 2 weeks, and then he walked back for 2 weeks, and he's one of the most prodigiously productive artists like in human history. And
Wow.
he didn't have the internet, he didn't have it's actually the access to all of that stuff, that is
Wow.
very like kind of paralyzing. And I think that just having the kind of clarity of mind to be able to think and have the space to reflect is actually really important.
well,
So AI is just part of that continuum of like, you know,
Rachel, just who's listening to the podcast, chimed in to me and says that AI is training kids to accept garbage animation,
mm,
and
Is it AI that's doing that, or it's not? It kind of feel like it doesn't even need to just be AI, but I think there's a lot of garbage out there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of garbage,
Social
like
media. I don't know.
cheap stuff. Like I always felt like it's funny because at the incipients of every kind of form, there's the best. Like you have Disney, right? At this the who did when Snow White, and then all these amazing, and it was never topped. Like it was at the pinnacle at the beginning. And I would say the same is true with the computer animation, and then it just decays. So you see, like after Warner Brothers cartoons, we got all that like shitty Hanna-Barbera, and like the cartoons that we grew up with, in the 80s were horrible. Like they were all awful. And I knew the difference between like a Tex Avery, you know, cartoon, or Bob Clampett, or like the great Warner Brothers directors, Chuck Jones. I knew the difference between that and like fucking Scooby Doo. Like
Well,
there was a
sure.
huge difference,
Well, I
you know?
remember the first time I saw anime, and
Yeah, like Miyazaki, and you're just like, holy shit.
well, even not even
Akira.
that, but like just Gundam, or
Mm,
like any of the
Evangelion. I mean, all of them.
Evangelion, right? Like the quality was like head over shoulders, like so much more advanced than what was coming out of the United States. The character designs were so much more stylized and thought out
mm.
and everything. And I thought that that was like, I think, I guess the argument against AI training our kids to accept garbage as media, um, I think that human beings naturally gravitate toward higher quality stuff. If someone takes the time and the energy and the effort to create higher quality things, then people will naturally move toward higher quality, toward it.
Yes and no. I
Mm.
mean, wish that that was the case, but if you look at our politics, if you look at like, what's popular, on, I don't like very often, like, I mean, I would always joke, like, I think that like AI could make a Marvel movie, like, and it would be fine. It wouldn't really make that much of a difference, you know? Like I honestly feel that way. Like, like a lot of these kind of corporate driven,
Well, but Marvel movies are built on the shoulders of great comic books and storytelling. I think people are drawn to it because of the nostalgic element
mm,
and the referentialness of it all. Because
yeah.
people who grew up reading these books are seeing it realized onto the big screen, and the storytelling is good enough and clever enough to have people want to, like, be like be intrigued, be interested, be captivated by it all, right?
I don't know. Is that true? Because aren't their numbers pretty bad?
Yeah, I
Lately,
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's because the latest ones are getting shittier and shittier because they're picking titles and stuff that are like more and more bunk. You know what I
Yeah, and
mean?
then it's just it gets to the point
This
too
isn't the
where,
first Avengers movie, or this isn't the first Iron Man. This is like we're now like going on comics
yeah.
that were never even popular.
And even that, even the ones that are pop, like like it's gotten to a point where like me as a viewer, I would go into a, there's this whole interconnected universe where everybody, like all the shows, or and I, it was like doing how I had to do homework, to like follow along with it, and it was just it was too much for me. Like I couldn't deal
I,
with it.
well, yeah, I think that's part of it, right? Because all of these MCU movies are connected in some form or fashion, it feels like you need to, and then you bring in the Disney Plus television series, like the entire like tree of um MCU titles, it just became too complicated for people
Mm,
to just to follow along.
mm,
I think I heard like in interviews, like with the guy who uh, runs the Marvel MCU.
Kevin Feige, or yeah.
Yeah, that like the plan is to eventually collapse that universe and start over again.
Mm,
Um, So,
Mm.
you know, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Okay,
the politics.
bad example. Like,
Okay.
like there's
Yeah,
any
But like,
number. You're coming to. Clearly, you're a fan of Marvel
Yeah,
movies.
but at the
Like,
same time, like
I am
I
a
don't,
fan.
but I don't recall the comics like having that sense of humor that some of these movies became, right? Like was Thor a comedy, like a comic book that was funny and like supposed to be funny, and Thor was a comedian? Like I don't recall that, and I don't think that's how. I just feel like it's like a formula. Oh, one of them worked because it was funny. Guardians of the Galaxy. So let's make a bunch of these funny. And it's just like
Mm,
following a formula, right?
I like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies because I like
Sure.
James. I like James Gunn. I think he's really
yeah.
like genuinely talented. Like, and he has a very very unique kind of singular sensibility. So I love that Suicide Squad movie he did. But I've been following his work since like Slither. I mean that. Did you ever see Slither? It's amazing. You should go back and
No.
look at old James Gunn movies. He wrote the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the
Mm,
Zack Snyder uh, remake, which is amazing. But I think it's really amazing because the script was so good, and James Gunn wrote that. He's really talented. So
well,
I don't know. I think that there's like you. I mean, I am not interested in AI, like what AI is
Oh
doing.
yeah,
Like,
back
I
to
mean, I
AI.
I wanna see stuff that's made by like an auteur, like unique, authorial voice, vision. And I go out of my way to see stuff that excites me because it's coming from someone who really has a very unique point of view, and that's totally human, and you can only have that point of view if you have a certain kind of empathy, if you've had certain kind of experience, if you understand human nature, and your own kind of, I don't think, artistic vision through a kind of material experience, like, I mean, I think a lot of it, what we make as artists is because of our sense of our own mortality, like, and we try to find expression, um, because we kind of see our own, understand our own life in terms of our the kind of the fleeting nature of our corporeal form, and we know that this is how we kind of connect with others, is through this. AI can't do that. Like, AI can't make me laugh or make me cry. Like, I don't know. To
mm,
me, it's like it's a kind of a gimmick, you know? And I think
sure.
it's being used as a kind of threat, you know, to keep people in line, and scare
Mm,
people. But like, ultimately, I think that it's not going to amount to much. Like, nothing that has come out of AI has been like, wow, like, this is going to totally, like, I think it'll get rid of a lot of jobs, you know?
mhm.
But I'm okay with like getting rid of jobs. It's just, you got to care for people in our society. You can't just like cast them out, So that's the biggest problem with the AI for me, is it's not the technology. It's the way it's going to be used by greedy fucks.
Mm. I was just in Hong Kong and I went to this like tower called Inns Point, and
Mm,
it's basically a toy kind of retail spot, and
mm,
inside it is this clusterfuck of rooms and product just crammed in these tiny little shops. And I was with Rachel and I told Rachel, like, oh, there's the future of retail, right there. Because the uh the cost of having a like space is so expensive. It's just easier to like rent a little piece of a room somewhere and
Mm,
put up a table and set up your stuff and have it open on the days that you're available to have it open. And as long as you have products that people are interested in, um, there you'll make money.
mm.
uh, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think that capitalism is definitely going to implode on itself because of the powers that be dictating on you know what it takes to have things done.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like like the deepest contradiction of capitalism is that, you squeeze down so hard, you develop all these technologies, to eliminate labor, and then nobody can afford the thing that you're providing, the service you're providing, or the thing that you're making. So that's gonna be the problem, like, and that's not gonna go away. So I
Well,
don't know. There's
I've seen live streams on on different media platforms of Chinese like laborers, and like it'll just have a girl like streaming herself shoving toothbrushes into a grid of holes,
yeah.
and just and you know just doing this repeatedly. And I remember looking at it and thinking, oh, that's awful. But then I
Mm,
remember thinking to myself, but these people have jobs, these people are getting paid,
yeah.
and what they're doing is they are working in an environment that allows them to stream their what they're doing from their workplace.
But they might be chained to the table by
Sure.
their feet, and they might be streaming for 14 hours straight. But it's okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is like
but
that. Yeah, I mean, that's the big problem too. Is like, Trump says make America great again and bring manufacturing back to, like, Americans don't want those jobs. Like, they don't. They don't want to do the shit that like is being done overseas. So like that's the thing. Is like, you know, the reason why all those jobs left is because Americans unionized, like during the period after post-war, World War II to like the 1970s. That was the only time in capitalism's history when wages actually increased, and that was because labor was very, very strong. They unionized. They had a lot of power. And then once technology got to a point where you could actually just send jobs overseas and then check in on a phone call or fly out there and look over, then that's when globalization happened.
Mhm.
And then now it's never going to come back. So our economy is totally based on financialization and kind of this weird new nebulous digital economy. And it's much more kind of, it's not like, oh, you make that thing and we consume it, and it's not like that at all.
Right.
So that's all changing. And in China, it's like they became our manufacturers, but they've also, their economy is totally different than ours. They've managed to lift, what is it, like, it's never been done before in human history, but they lifted 800 million people out of poverty.
Hmm.
So their distribution system is totally different than American capitalism, which gives all of the gains to like just like a handful of people.
Right.
In China, it's much more distributed, and that's because the Communist Party has like political power over the over commerce.
All right.
So
Jack
they
Ma.
control that. So
Yeah.
it's very different.
Yeah.
So it's
Jack.
going to be it's a totally different future for China, and what they're doing is insane. Like I watch these videos of China where they're at, and it's like it's like sci-fi. It's
Yeah.
totally, and that's going to be a future. I mean, I know they have their problems, authoritarianism and
Mhm.
whatnot, but still, like, so does America. You know, like we can't point the finger at them and not be like, oh, we don't. You know, we're all being spied on by the
Yep.
NSA. You know, and Google.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
No,
so
we're being spied on and our information is being sold. So they're
yeah,
capitalizing off of,
yeah.
our controversial meanderings.
And it can quickly be turned to like politics, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, so it's just a matter of flipping a switch, and then you know, you speak out against Trump, or you speak out against capitalism, you speak out against, you know, heterosexuality, like like suddenly you can get sent to a gulag, you know, like it's gonna be like that, you know, so
I,
that's the life we're
And
living
maybe
in.
accidentally in quotes, correct?
I,
Yeah.
I
Right.
hate to say it, but I kind of feel like, we kind of need to crush, the our First Amendment, our rights to, say whatever the fuck we want, because it was a headline just this week that China is like forcing it and making it so that only influencers with a certain level of education can be able to discuss issues such as health and politics and technology and science.
Mm, mm.
And the comments were all like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, I remember actually that like American media was like bringing up certain examples of how inhumane like Chinese government is, and one of the things is they're limiting the number of hours that kids can play video games,
Right.
and I was like, fucking amen, you know, like right? They're limiting the amount of money that billionaires can continue to make, right? So Jack Ma wanted to expand Alibaba into banking,
Mm,
Oh
right.
wow.
and the Chinese Communist Party is like, "Fuck you! You have so much already. You cut that shit out, right?
Mm.
Thank you. You know, like, why don't we have that here? Like, the
Right.
government has like serves corporations and corporate power, it completely enslaved to capitalist interests. So that's why people hate American government. All the people who hate government
Mm.
are right, because government served corporations. But if government did what it was supposed to do, which is protect the public good,
Public.
offer
Yep.
health care, offer education, you know,
Mhm.
protect the environment, you know, like, then government would be good. People would like government. I mean, socialism is awesome, like the library and
Mhm.
buses and subways, you know, like,
Yep.
so,
We might actually have a high-speed rail.
yeah, I know. Like, what the
Mhm.
fuck? Look at China. Have you seen their train stations?
Mm.
That's like, it's nuts, you know.
Oh,
So
their maglev stuff is amazing, right?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
We got
Crazy
a
fast.
Mm.
question from YouTube. Clutterbug Lisa asks, "What do you think about Neo, the new home robot that you rent to do chores in your home?"
I've never heard of that, but
Yeah, that's
it
news
sounds
to me
great.
too.
I want it. I want it now.
That that would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah, bring
So
it on.
because like the idea of of hiring strangers to come in and clean your house. I know people that um, did it, and it always kind of felt like sus to me, because it's like you're letting people in, and I don't want people seeing the intimacies of my living environment.
You don't want them to see your whatever it is, art in the making,
Oh, I mean,
whatever your Tenga collection.
my Tango
Your
collection, my
Real doll collection,
my toy collection in general.
right? The Gundam with female parts that you enjoy so much.
Yes,
It's
that
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, you're right though. I mean, that's like a service, right? That's they're out there trying to get jobs, and it's like, yeah, no, the Neo robot sounds a little better.
Of course, the Neo robot's going to see everything too, and it's all
Well,
going to
of
be
course.
uploaded into the cloud. So
It'll get reported at what you kind of things you are interested in actually behind closed doors, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
You'll start getting weird ads,
Oh,
more
yeah.
ads.
Well,
you know.
I have
Yeah.
a Roomba.
Wow.
you know?
Lisa said skid marks.
Yes.
Speak for yourself, Lisa.
Skid marks are a thing. They happen. They happen. I like the idea of someone doing my
They happen.
laundry. Like
Skid marks happen. That should just be a bumper sticker that you put on a car.
yeah, it'd be perfect on a car because people would read it with dual
There you go.
dual meaning.
I'm a genius. There you go. I'm a genius. There you go. Skid marks happen.
Skid marks happen. Bumper stickers. Let's do it. Anyways, we are approaching the hour. Anthony, tell us about your sculptures. I believe those are examples behind you.
Yes,
Yeah,
they look
this
like
is-
yeah, there they are.
This is like what it looks like. These are kind of made out of paper mache and IKEA boxes. So they're kind of I do have various sizes and shapes. But yeah, these are unpainted. These are what they look like before they're colored. But I've been doing these for decades now. I just do them for the house. They're like kind of my guardians.
Hmm.
And I think of them really as kind of they're kaiju, so
Mm.
kaiju are interesting to me because they're you can't tell whether they're friend or foe.
Mm.
And they're usually the result of environmental catastrophe, and so they're born out of catastrophe and human intervention. So I think of them as very interesting kind of ideational figures.
So they're not
So-
abstractions or anything like that.
They are
they're-
abstracted. They are. I mean, they're kind of abstract, but also kind of. I get a lot of the forms from nature, from reptiles,
They
insects,
look
flowers.
flowers.
Yeah. Crustaceans and mollusks and all manner of beasties. So
Skid
I like
marks.
skid marks. Symmetry.
Skid marks.
Symmetry. Yeah.
But the cool thing is, we've actually been selling them at GR, right? They've been
Yeah,
in our group
yeah.
shows, so we started doing that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really. It's been great. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful to Cassia for inviting me to show there, and I'd love to show the bigger ones. The bigger ones are the ones that are most impressive, but they do not fit in that little space. So
Is that the one
Um,
behind your head a bigger one?
yeah,
Kind
it's
of.
like-
It is, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. They're all pretty big, pretty
Ah,
amazing.
they're huge.
But they're all like paper mache, and yeah, they're
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like a
They're
kind
not,
of
How
they're
do
not as
you-
light as you would think, right?
They're
they're not
huge. They're
lightweight.
heavy. They're super. They're
Yeah.
super heavy.
Because
Yeah,
they're super dense. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
But they're hollow
There's-
inside. Yeah, you should come over and just check them out, Luke. Like,
I would love to. Yeah,
Yeah.
your ability to capture symmetry is like amazing. Like that looks difficult to do by hand.
I have a method. I have a method where I do one half, and then
Mhm.
I do a stencil and I flip, like I tape it in the middle, and then I cut out the other side, and then every part that I make, I do use it as a stencil for the other side. So it follows a kind of a pattern. And I'm able to.
Wow.
It's kind of wonky though, but I like that it's wonky because nature is not perfect either. Like.
Sure.
So if there's some
It's also
imperfection,
paper mache. I mean, paper mache is wonky. That is.
yeah.
Right. Should that be a bumper sticker too? No, it's not as cool.
No, that's totally like I'm
But it's true.
into like the kind of like eliminating barriers to entry, right? In any
Mhm.
art form. So just IKEA boxes, scissors, masking tape, and paper mache clay, and making something kind of weird and extraordinary. I also make these lamps. Can I show you?
Oh, the lamps are cool.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We'd love to see it.
So, so this is a paper lamp. Sorry, that I made out of. Oh, it's kind of, you can't really.
Oh,
see,
You can kind of see it
wow.
because it has an armature kind of, and
yeah. So
Yeah.
I make
Those are
it.
cool.
I make these out of paper.
Paper.
This is like a lotus. Yeah, like a reed and then tissue paper.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I have this big phoenix behind me on the.
It kind of looks like one of there was some kind of like angel that kind of comes from the Abrahamic faiths that like
Mm,
weird. It's like not the one that's covered in eyeballs, but one of the other ones with six wings and stuff. But those are
yeah,
great.
yeah. But I definitely think of them as kind of like godlike deities, you know.
Did Did you see the Pinata show at Periton? That
No.
there was an artist who was showing in Periton last month that was making these creatures that were inspired from Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights.
oh, I heard of
Ooh,
this. Yeah. I saw
love
pictures.
Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. So, and then
I
some of these paper maches that you've done remind me of that. So,
I love Bosch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyways, Anthony, thank you so much. You were amazing. You're
Oh, so are you guys. You guys are
like,
so
you know,
delightful to talk to.
so much to say. That was great. You know, but I think this is well, Eric, you want to sign us off?
Oh, how do people find you, Anthony?
Well, I just started an Instagram like not that long ago. So
Anthony
at
Chun 72.
Anthony Chun 72. That's my
There you go.
sculpture and my lamps. And then you can find me on Sawtelle Boulevard playing my violin.
Did
Make sure you bring some
on-
cash. Bring some
Yeah.
cash or bring your phone.
Yeah, Venmo. I have Venmo.
Venmo.
now, so.
There you go.
Do you play on
And-
specific days?
Thursdays I usually go out, and then Saturdays or Sundays usually, like on the weekends I'm there, but it's kind of like it's just based on my mood, and I'm so close. Part of what I enjoy is just the spontaneity of it, like I'm just I feel like going out and I'll just go out and I'll play.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Anthony, just so we back up for just a moment, was from back in the old days was a violinist. This isn't some like hobby that he took on through the internet or something. This is
no.
something from way back, right? Like your mother's
my mother's a
violinist,
violinist, my
Yep.
violin teacher, and then I studied like with some of the best musicians, like my teacher in college was the pupil of the greatest violinist of the 20th century, Jascha Heifetz. So I'm kind of a direct descendant of Jascha Heifetz. So.
That's awesome.
It's not
Yeah.
the Charlie Daniels band guy.
No,
No.
his name is Eric Friedman, and he sounded exactly like Heifetz,
Okay.
and he taught me a lot of Heifetz's technical tricks and stuff. So
Awesome.
Awesome. See, there you go, everybody.
Right.
And you could watch him for free, or you could tip him for a little or a lot, but you could also get it for free. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sawtelle
So you
Boulevard,
can
place
see
to
my
go.
work on Rick and Morty. I directed Pickle Rick, and then you can watch Solar Opposites. I executive produced
There you go.
5-6 seasons of that. My work is on King of the Hill and Bob's Burgers. The episode 1 of Bob's Burgers, that was me.
But you directed the most infamous episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Rachel wants to ask what your favorite Sawtelle restaurant is.
Oh, my fit. Jeez. That's a tough one. Huh.
Are you at the point where they're all not so good, but then there's some good,
No,
like,
no, I really
you're there
love
so
them.
much,
Yeah.
you're just like, no, none of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the
It
thing.
gets
Like,
that way after a while.
yeah.
That's where I think I'm at. I'm like, you know what? There isn't anything good there, but there are. But that's the first thing I think of. I'm like, no, I don't want to eat anything here. But
yeah, that's
there
part
are
of the
great places. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I want to try that Thai smash burger place.
Oh yeah. Oh, you
that's
know
good.
what's opening up in that place, the Korean soup place,
Yep. Sung Nong Dang.
Dong Dan, which is they have
Really?
a branch in Koreatown.
And
They
San Gabriel.
serve
Yeah.
and
San
Gabriel.
Gabriel
It's
as
it's
well.
the kalbi stew, the kalbi chim.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
love that.
I was like so thrilled when I
Yeah.
saw that sign. I was like, oh my god,
Oh, it's so
a
like
game
the
changer.
it was in the Seoul Cafe place on like right across the way from you, Eric.
No. That's
No.
gonna be you're talking about. That's gonna be where Bar Hayama is or was at, across street from the burger place that was maybe 3 blocks up.
It was
And the burger place is also closed.
Plan Check was what it was
Plan Check,
called.
there you go.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into Plan Check.
It's going
No,
across,
across the
of Plan
street.
Check.
Across the street.
Mm.
Oh.
And something else is going into Plan Check. I don't know what. So
It's probably another
Anyways.
burger place.
come visit Anthony. Come visit me. Come visit Luke.
Yes. I'm in
Yeah,
We
downtown.
appreciate you.
Uh,
And this was Robot and the Bear, episode number 95.
95.
Wow, you've done a lot.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
you've done a
Eric,
lot. I didn't
We're
realize.
gonna do
Wow.
this next week. Eric, we're doing this next week. Okay.
Okay. We'll do it.
Okay.
Next
We're gonna
Wednesday.
try and make it happen again.
We'll try to do it. Okay.
This was really
Thanks much,
fun.
Or
Anthony.
maybe not.
Okay.
I think I'll probably. Oh yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Okay,
Sayonara.
bye. Yeah.